It's time for the Glendale Devotional Podcast, a 5-minute weekday devotional ministry from Glendale Baptist Church in Glen, Mississippi. The speaker is John Haynes. Now, here is Brother John.
Thank you for joining us today. As we count down the days for the Labor Day weekend, we're talking about the joy of working this week. Yesterday, we talked about work is really a godsend. For the ability to work, for the jobs that we have. Now, to be fair, God provides for all of us. Make no mistake, the blessings we have is because God has given them to us. But yet, He's given us the wonderful opportunity to have a fulfilled life by honest, hard work. Now today, I want to read a passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. May I make the transition from our secular jobs back to our faith? Now, I realize that 1 Corinthians chapter 15 is talking about largely the resurrection and the importance of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the resurrection of all of God's people. But at the very last verse of that very long chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, he talks about the work of the Lord. There ought to be a connection between our faith and who we are at the job. Therefore, my beloved brethren. Now, right now, I know that I'm probably talking to Christians who are working or driving, or maybe just this is your day off. Christians really ought to be the best employees because of our faith, because the Spirit of Jesus living within us. We shouldn't cuss other people out, to grumble about the boss, to have a bad attitude toward working. I know it's tough. I've been there. I've worked in factories. I've been in some tough situations before. But may I say to you today, whenever I worked at the furniture factory and you were just doing the same thing over and over every day, man, God bless that time in my life. And because of that job, I have some of the best friends in the world today. So if you're a Christian, make sure that you take your faith to work. Now, I realize there's a lot of regulations today. You can't talk about your faith in some arenas, but let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Paul also said to be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Because we take our faith to work, then that changes the way that we live our lives. The Spirit of Jesus abiding within the hearts and lives of His people changes us. Oh, what a wonderful change in my life has been wrought since Jesus came into my heart. That we should be steadfast, immovable, that we should represent the Lord Jesus Christ in our jobs and in our language and all that we say and do. God has placed you where you're at for you to be a light for Jesus Christ. Let's make sure that we don't adapt the attitudes of people who don't have Christian faith. And let's make sure that we mirror the love and the kindness of Jesus. When we take our faith to work, and when we live out our faith as we work, you don't have to preach a sermon to them every day. You don't have to come across as you're better than anybody else, because, quite frankly, you're not. Don't have a holier-than-thou attitude, but understand that it is the work of the Lord for a saved person. That's right. The truck driver can be doing the work of the Lord. The school teacher can be doing the work of the Lord. The person who's working out in the excessive heat can be doing the work of the Lord. You can be the hands and feet of Jesus to someone. You can be kind to them today, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Somebody's counting on you to do a good job on your job. May we always understand that God has placed us where we are in order for us to shine for Him. Hey, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget that Brother Ron Plymel of Greener Grass Ministries and Horsemanship will be here tomorrow, and I hope that you'll join in and tell others about Wrangling Wednesdays. I'll be back on Thursday. Have a good and godly day.
Thank you for listening each afternoon at 12:05 on Fun 91 for the Glendale Devotional Podcast, presented by Glendale Baptist Church. To learn more about Glendale Baptist Church, please visit their website, gbcglen.com. Their mailing address is P.O. Box 70, Glenn, Mississippi 38846.